Hi, welcome to this rather casual video, which will be the definitive ranking on the best videos on this platform. It is definitive only if you consider me the absolute authority on quality of video entertainment, which I am, so it's fine. You can just take my word for it. They are the best. And also, if you take into account that, for me, part of the measure of quality of a good YouTube video is its length. All the videos on this list, or most of them, will be video essays, and none of them will be shorter than 20 minutes. That's the minimum length of a video I need to consider it a good video. Mind you, there are some shorter videos that pack a punch and a lot of information, but I feel that they deserve their own, their own video, their own list, because it's a completely different experience. If you sit there for a while, frankly, for me, the longer the better. But I do have some shorter videos on the list as well, if you like them like that. So yeah, hi.
Intro.
Let's start with a drink. I'm drinking this very special Coca-Cola mixer. They are super expensive. They were like $2 now, the equivalent of. Now they are like $3, and that's way too much for however many milliliters that is. They are made for drinks. They have different types of flavor profiles and notes, and added to a drink, supposedly they are delicious. This is herbal with the notes of hops, dill seed, tagetes, and lemongrass, co-created by Antonio Naranjo, master mixologist. And it doesn't say what drinks it's best suited for, but I know that the information is available somewhere. I like all the videos on the list. Sometimes I might have a bigger emotional attachment to different videos by said creators, but I think objectively, and I am objectivity itself, both the order and the choice of each video by a particular YouTuber are perfectly accurate and make sense. And the parameters which I'll be considering are that of the visual appeal, the knowledge that it imparts on us, so like the intellectual value, I guess, I don't know, and entertainment value as well. And we'll start in the 10th place. We've got Riverdale, the biggest anomaly in TV history, by Friendly Space Ninja. By the way, by the end of the video, I'll just link a playlist with all the videos from top 10, as well as others that I'll mention. So it would be just a comprehensive list linked in the end, possibly also in the description box. If not, then I just wanted you to watch the video, which you should want to watch. So, as I said, Riverdale, which is a 2-hour and 22-minute breakdown of Riverdale as this weird TV phenomenon, which I think is valuable in itself, because Riverdale is what I would call an ambient TV. It is not TV meant to completely engage you intellectually and mentally. It's a TV show that's supposed to be low effort, be able to put on in the background, and you can just watch it casually. Some examples of that would be Emily in Paris, which was the first video that Friendly Space Ninja made, which straight up catapulted him into tens of thousands of subscribers. Now he sits at 300k. As for another example of ambient TV, I'd argue that most medical procedural hospital dramas, like The Good Doctor or any sort of doctors, I don't watch them, also qualify, because you're just supposed to follow along, maybe tune in when the operation is taking place, but mostly just da-da-da-da in the background. So this breakdown is truly comprehensive. It takes into account all the main characters, the source material, Alberto Aguirre Sacasa, who's the creator, and how he manages to ruin all the intellectual properties offered to him. I think it's very entertaining, even if you don't care about the show, which most people frankly don't, but it's going to be, I think, a theme within the top 10 things. People enjoy other people ranting and shitting on things. This video, I don't think any of the videos I'll include in the list truly qualify as just shitting on something, but there is a lot of valid criticism because I do enjoy criticism as a form of media commentary, so expect a lot of that. But it does mention the brief positive notes and, you know, the background of the show. So when it comes to visual appeal, this video is fully formed from clips of the show, which makes it really easy to follow along and watch. It like grabs your eye, but I mean, you can definitely just listen to it if you prefer to treat it as a podcast, which I feel is an added value if the video stands as an audio. But if you watch it, it keeps you engaged. I think Friendly Space Ninja, or whoever edits his videos, is really good at their job. The knowledge and or intellectual value is high because it implements a lot of means of critical analysis of the text that is Riverdale. And when it comes to entertainment, as I said, it's really interesting. I also think that Friendly Space Ninja is really able to really pace his videos really well. My other favorites of his would be the analysis of Gossip Girl and Pretty Little Liars. And emotionally, I like all three of them. Maybe even I watch the Pretty Little Liars and Gossip Girl a little bit more often, but I think Riverdale is objectively the best. And as that we established, I am objectivity itself. In the 9th place, we've got Vampires, The Vampires, Marceline and Tarot, Stakes miniseries analysis, Adventure Time by Uncivilized Elk. It is a critical analysis of the Stakes miniseries within Adventure Time, the show. I think this is the most context-reliant video I have in the list. It does benefit, and I'm not sure how enjoyable it is if you don't understand Adventure Time, at least, just like briefly, and even more so the Stakes miniseries. Stakes miniseries is like 6 episodes, I think, and I think it's a great piece of media which is worth watching. I think you can just read a brief description of the main characters and then jump straight into the miniseries if you don't want to watch the whole show. But even if you don't watch the show, I think this is a very valuable video. It's an interpretation of the miniseries with keeping the Tarot Major Arcana deck in mind. And Uncivilized Elk himself states that he does not believe in the future predicting abilities of Tarot. I share that regard, but he finds Tarot a very interesting lens through which you can view that piece of media, and I agree. I think that is really cool. So why do I think that interpreting a text of culture, not necessarily the written word, through a specific lens is valuable? I think that having different perspectives and maybe sometimes forcing yourself to perceive a piece of media in a different way is something that truly intrigues me. An example of that would be, for example, if you have a biography or a text with a heavy character work, you can just interpret it by itself. You can get your context clues from the authors of the show. I will never do that if I have a chance. But you, for example, can take a specific psychological theory, say psychoanalysis, Freud style, so classic one, or more modern psychodynamic approach, and use that to interpret characters and their motivations. And here, Tarot deck is the lens through which we view the Stakes miniseries. I think tarot cards are usually very beautiful and have a lot of symbolism around them, so it's an added value. I also really like that he mentions in the video how interpreting your life currently through tarot deck can just lend you a new perspective, and I think I would like to use them at some point to try kind of like a mindfulness approach with the tarot deck. So just take them, read the booklet that I have. Okay. I have a tarot deck which I inherited from my grandpa, and in it there is, it cost 11,000 zlotys because 1100,000 because it was like pre-inflation communism times, the 80s. There is a book inside it, and I would reread it and then try to interpret my life through the major arcana and cards. I think it would be really interesting, so expect that video. As I said, I don't really believe in the predictive value of it. So this video, when it comes to the visual value, is again one of the better ones because you have the clips from the show, but also the cards sometimes superimposed over or just on the screen that you can focus on. So it's very interesting to watch because there's a lot of happening, there's very good editing. The intellectual value, I think, is middling because the only real new information that you receive might be the tarot aspect of it, and it is context reliant. I think you benefit more if you watch the mini-series. Thank you, Kirusha. And as for the entertainment value, I'd say it's also pretty high. I ranked it over Riverdale because if you do watch the Stakes mini-series, I think you just get more out of this video than the Riverdale one. I do have to taste the dill in my Coke. Why not? In 8th place, I am actually, I would say cheating a little bit, but I am always right. So if I say that a series can make it as a numbered video on this list, it can. So in place number 8, I'm sorry for the biting, it's Kirusha chewing on a bone. So in 8th place, we've got Dominic Noble's 50 Shades of Grey series. He reviewed both the movies and the books and did a lot of work to criticize but also understand in a very empathetic manner the possible motivations of why characters can behave such a way, why they were written such a way. I don't think he quite got there. By the way, if I may point you to my video, Why Did Women Like Christian Grey, I explain a little bit about that phenomenon. Dominic Noble focused more on the texts themselves, and it's a very good breakdown of all the toxic elements of this book, but also just critiquing the writing style and everything. He summarizes every piece of media in all these videos, so it's spoiler full, but you don't need to read anything. And if you want some insight into I won't say the female psyche, but maybe try to understand for your own why these books and films were so big, I do truly recommend it. In my playlist, I will only have the first 2 videos. I think I will link his playlist, Dominic's playlist, in my description box if you want to head over there. I love his videos in general. He does great adaptation analysis, for example, of Narnia books or whatever. He's great. So when it comes to the visual aspect, he dresses up as characters and in a very campy way acts out different parts of the films and books. He also includes clips from the films, so I think the entertainment and visual aspect value is really, really high. Intellectually, I also think you can learn a lot when it comes to critical analysis of literature or movies. It's really good. In place number 7, we have a 3-part series by Cindy Pham at Read with Cindy. Currently the channel is named With Cindy because she branched out into film and TV series criticism or analysis as well. Specifically, the series about Sarah J. Maas books, starting with The Court of Thorns and Roses. I only read the first 2 books. You also don't need to read them. This is a breakdown of the series, but also Cindy's personal breakdown. We can just follow her breakdown in the spiral of despair over the middling quality of this fantasy romance series, with the high points being her discussion of the only high point of the book, which are the sex scenes. I think it's really amusing, and she just went deep there. She also criticized the later released novellas and like epilogues to the series. I don't care, it's a trilogy, so I'll just include the 3 books. I make the rules. In place number 6 is the actual most context-reliant video of my list, which is Did John Thorpe Propose Marriage to Catherine Morland? Jane Austen Northanger Abbey Novel Analysis by Dr. Octavia Cox. You do need to have read the novel or watched the film to understand what this video is about. It's 48 minutes and 3 seconds, and I am a lover of Jane Austen's literature, but also I feel that the Regency era manner of speaking within English aristocracy lends itself to a lot of confusion. Like, I don't feel I have potentially grasped every nuance of every conversation, and this is an hour-long breakdown on one particular conversation where I completely missed the possible layer and answer to the question that John Thorpe proposed. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it is a very intriguing, in-depth analysis of that piece of writing. Dr. Octavia Cox, in general, does those close reading classes of classical literature. Check out her channel. She slaps. I don't know if she would appreciate my wording. She probably would correct me. In place number 5, we have the shortest video so far at 23 minutes and 28 seconds. Why Avatar has the most ironic soundtrack of all time by Sideways, the musical channel. Sideways has a very healthy mix of positive and negative, I feel, reviews of different types of movie and I think TV series and musical soundtracks. It's a music focused channel. You don't need to be a music pro or a lover of film music to enjoy his content. He has a lot of wonderful long form content, but I think in both his Les Miserables, what was that? Les Miserables? The Miserable, Les Miserables criticism video and his Cats video, he got copyright struck at some later points, so some of the parts of the video are mute. So this is the best video that I could choose, and I think it's his best overall. It is an in-depth analysis of Avatar soundtrack, but not as it is, but as it was supposed to be. It goes really, really in depth, and its intellectual value, like the amount of information that you get, is so high. You definitely leave the room in which you watched it smarter than you were before. It's just so good because the story of the Avatar soundtrack is very ironic, because the soundtrack was supposed to be this wonderful exploration of alien sounds, but it ended up paralleling actually the bad message of the movie, which is the themes of the movie, which is colonialism, kind of the alien planet. It's very intriguing. So I'll just stop talking. You definitely should watch that. It's the one at this point that I would recommend the strongest. In place number 4, we have H Bomber Guys. Pathologic is genius, and here is why. It's a completely positive video, or is it? It is not actually. Pathologic is Russian-made 2000s, early 2000s computer game with pretty poor graphics, and it's a very interesting experience. I have not played it and don't intend to, and you probably won't either after watching this video, but it's very interesting because it's not a game that is supposed to make you feel good, but that does not mean that it is not a valuable piece of text, right? Because all types of emotional experiences can be valuable, and this game proves it. it has a ton of lore, a ton of different possibilities. Also, one of my favorite things ever is, well, variations or alternative versions, universes, options. And this video is so beautifully structured into 3 chapters following every playable character that you can follow along in the proper order that you should play them in, and that just satisfies my brain and my soul so much. I absolutely love when things are listed and in order. I absolutely love lists. Lists are very cool. Tables as well. I just love it. So yeah, definitely watch it. It's almost 2 hours long, I feel. The video is 2 hours and 10 minutes 2 hours and 11 minutes long, and it's worth every second that you'll spend watching it. It's wonderful and amazing and great. In place number 3, we have actually a tie between 2 video essays by the same author, ContraPoints. ContraPoints is a leftist YouTuber who explores different ideas and concepts such as canceling, cringe, incels, with a lot of critical thought, but also a ton of empathy. I don't think there's anyone as empathetic towards the groups of people that they're analyzing than ContraPoints. It's just on another level. She does a lot of research, and her videos are very, very much in depth. I don't think you can say that they are critical. They are more so essays. They are discussions and explorations of different topics. The 2 of them that are in the 3rd place are Envy and J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling video is a discussion of J.K. Rowling's transphobic tweets and their impact on culture and Harry Potter fans and everything. And the other part, Envy, is an exploration of that particular emotion, which we feel kind of ashamed of and don't really consider that we experience. She really goes in depth as to how we shield ourselves from feeling envy. So I think it's more fair to say that she focuses on Americans, and I, as a Polish person, relate, and I think it parallels my culture quite a lot. We don't want to admit to ourselves that we feel envy. So when it comes to intellectual value, this is like 12 out of 10. She does so much research. There's so much information. It just nourishes your brain. Entertainment value, Natalie has a great sense of humor, and she's also very eloquent, so her videos always just slap and are amazing. And when it comes to the visual, she's the queen of YouTube visuals. I don't think she's the best one. The place number 1 and 2 are not really even close, because she builds whole sets and dresses up as characters, which she feels will help her convey her ideas better. It's just amazing. But still, she got beat in my ranking by the video in number 2, which is Jenny Nicholson's The Vampire Diaries video. And this video sits at 2 hours and 33 minutes. It's the longest one on my list. It's an in-depth analysis of Vampire Diaries, the TV show, but also all the cultural context surrounding it. So the books it's based on, the general vibe and need for vampire media, the appeal of the show, different characters, implications, product placement, singing career placement, and just how the show tried to push the actors inside it, but only some of them, forward, and the favoritism and nepotism, mostly favoritism within the show, the video game that was inspired by the books, and it is all wrapped up in this neat little package. And I think that the entertainment value of this video is very, very high. Jenny also has a great sense of humor and is able to keep you captivated. This video is split into neat chapters, so if you felt so inclined, you can just skip a bit, but you shouldn't, because why would you? I'm telling you not to, so you won't do it. Be a good boy. And and also, even though it is a video essay of the person sits there and speaks variety, the visual appeal is also pretty high because Jenny edited in a lot of clips from the show, so you're visually engaged, but also she dresses up always as different types of clothing relating to the piece of media that she's discussing. She's always dressed up. I won't say it's always cosplay in this particular sense. She's sometimes dressed as a fan of the show, sometimes as a character, and also to help you be more engaged, she has this serial killer style just pin board with different types of, like a map that you can focus on as well. So yeah, even if you don't care about Vampire Diaries, I think Jenny is just so interesting that you can really benefit from the experience. And in place number 1 is the absolute best piece of video essay style content on YouTube, in my opinion, which is the Neurosis of Cat Valentine video essay by CJDX, who is a musician, a rapper, but his content on YouTube is focused on media analysis. I would not say that it is a criticism. He and Jenny both usually just find an angle, a lens, through which they talk about specific piece of media. In here, CJ, a person with a borderline personality disorder himself, speaks about the psyche of Cat Valentine from Victorious the show, and later Cat and the other girl, the show. The intellectual value of this video is insane. He gives you so much information, which is like valid from the psychological standpoint, but I think his perspective as a neurodivergent person commenting on a neurodivergent character is really valuable. He has an insight that I as a neurotypical person will not have, and a different type of perspective. He's also eloquent as fuck. I said that as a tribute to him. CJ swears a lot. His vocabulary is amazing. I mean, he writes songs, so you would figure, but also he speaks very fast, so he really stimulates your brain when he's speaking to you, because he gives off so much information in such a short amount of time. The video essay is 1 hour 22 minutes long. If you struggle following along his thought processes, which are very quick, he has a very quick wit, just slow it down, and then you can truly get the benefit of all the information inside this particular piece of media. The visual side of things is not very high, because I mean he did some makeup and there are clips from the show, but it's just him sitting and talking. But on the other hand, because you don't really need to watch the video, you can treat it as a podcast, which is great as well. I really enjoy that. Intellectual value is just insane. I mean, intellectual value, it's not always just knowledge that you receive. Sometimes it's just broadening your horizons and new perspectives, which is, I think, an invaluable thing to receive from a YouTube video. And that's it, that's my list. However, before I go, I will have some honorable mentions. Another honorable mention would be the Miscribe scandal analysis by Eldena Double Cut, which is a story of the most toxic and the most meddlesome fan in the Harry Potter fandom. I was not there. I was a wee little lass when all the drama was happening, but I think it's a very concise documentary on intriguing fandom beef if you're into that sort of thing. And also, I think I should mention two more videos I want to mention. One of them is not really available anymore. It was a 3-part series by D'Angelo Wallace on Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star, and Tati Westbrook, which covered a dramageddon which shook the internet community for a little while if you inhabited the right parts of it. But this video is no longer available because so much information has since come out that they are no longer really representing the reality. But for the time that they came in, it was a very good piece of documentary, the internet documentary, to be honest. Sorry, it's no longer available. And as a last thing, I'll mention this 5-hour documentary of Nikocado Avocado's Downward Spiral by the Right Opinion. It's edited by multiple people, and it is really interesting, very long, but I don't think I can say it's the best video because of its subject matter, partially because just giving Nico Cato attention is kind of bad in itself, but it is a very solid piece of work, so I thought I'd mention it as well. But that's it. Thank you for being here with me. Merry Christmas. I have present wrappers, ribbons in my ears. Happy holiday if that's not your vibe, or just have a nice December. That works as well. If you enjoy hanging out with me, maybe check out my other social media, which are linked in the description box. I stream on Reddit quite regularly, not always, but mostly, yeah. And if you really enjoyed it, consider supporting me and my little doggy Kira. So yeah, thanks for coming by, and papa, see you next week.